Are you turning 65 soon? At 64 Insurance Group, we know how confusing Medicare can be. Let us guide you through the entire process. And by the way, you don't pay a penny for our services. Don't wait until you're 65 to call. Are you64.com.
New CBS tonight.
Wait for an emergency. Call today for a free consultation and assessment. High-Tech Power Systems Incorporated. Locally owned and serving the CSRA since 1986.
Hey, it's Anna Christina. President's Day is here, and it's one of the biggest days of the year at Jimmy's Home Furnishings. Come shop the biggest names in mattresses like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Sealy. We're offering free delivery on all mattress purchases. Also, take advantage of up to 40% off select clearance items store-wide, as well as 60-month interest-free financing. Here in Grovetown, located just 2 miles from exit 190. Jimmy's Home Furnishings, where it feels like home.
Brett, what are you doing?
Eliminating some stuff.
First off, pretty sure that's a federal offense. And second, that's for our customers to eliminate their Medicare cards when they come in for a commitment-free consultation.
My bad.
Are you64.com.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
It was a massive manhunt that drew a lot of attention around here Friday night. We have new details on the theft ring arrest in Columbia County.
These rings that come through, it's harmful to businesses.
We're going to hear from the business manager who stopped that gang in its tracks next on News 12 at 6 o'clock. But we begin with the weather tonight, and the First Alert Radar Network lit up in green and yellow today.
Yeah, luckily the rain isn't done yet. Riley, what can we expect as we head into tonight?
Yeah, guys, we still have the chance for rain this evening. It's about 10 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Riley. The flooding woes continue in Burke County. The Midville Police Department says parts of downtown are closed to traffic. Parts of Trout Street and Ivy Lane are also closed from flooding in that area. Half a mile from there, Murphy Street, they're down to 1 lane because of flooding, so just be careful if you're heading out that way.
So all this rain causing some drainage issues on local roads, and several creeks are filled to the brim, running fast right now. We've seen a couple of inches to 3 inches, as Riley just mentioned, across parts of Richmond County and surrounding counties. So far, the steady rain has not created any serious damage.
But some neighborhoods are feeling the familiar sting of those flooded yards. Craig Allison has been looking around Richmond County to see the worst of the flooding today.
Flooded street blocks downtown and curbsides overrun with water. Some areas, like Reynolds Street near Freedom Bridge, are doing better at keeping the storm down compared to last month. Still, storm drains are working overtime to keep up with the flow, but in some spots, manhole covers are overflowing, sending the water back out.
I don't know what the future will bring. I did see a man one time from the city checking the drains out here, but I mean, they're still in the same condition. And
Ruthie Foss has been living on Kemp Drive for more than 2 years now and says the rising water is attacking homes from both sides, overflowing from the street into their yards in a backyard rapid that rises close to the home every time it rains even a little.
the creek comes up, in the blink of an eye, and it's like a river back there. So I was just standing in the backyard looking at how high the water was, and came 5 people in inner tubes came, inner tubing down the creek.
There hasn't been much progress, despite Ms. Foss calling the city for help. While today's storm is relatively being kept at bay, she fears when something more serious rolls through and brings a river to her front yard. In Augusta, Craig Allison, on your side.
And while we did report on 2022 audit findings of the stormwater fees showing that some of those have not been spent yet, commissioners say a lot of the projects you're seeing now didn't start until 2023. So Augusta Engineering is telling us that floodwater will eventually start to drain after a few hours when the rain stops.
We have an update tonight from the I-Team about 2 Richmond County deputies arrested Friday from an incident that happened almost 2 years ago.
Johnny Atkinson and Austin Birch are charged with battery in violation of oath of office. Atkinson is also charged with aggravated assault. Investigators say both arrests are tied to unnecessary force at the Charles B. Webster Detention Center. In a news release, the sheriff's office says it became aware of this incident on Thursday, 1 day before the arrest. But as our I-Team's Meredith Anderson shows us, the sheriff's office has known about this for at least 6 months now. That's because I showed them and all of you some of the video of the incident in question this past summer. Now, this is body cam from an I-Team story back in July questioning this use of force against an inmate. Turns out this isn't the only time those at the sheriff's office could have seen it. And the timing of these arrests 2 years later, it might not be a coincidence. The video begins as deputies were called to the Charles Webster Detention Center for a riot. The news release deputies sent out Friday clarifies it was for unruly inmates. Sources tell the I-Team it's because inmates popped off sprinkler heads to flood the jail in protest of plumbing problems, like toilets not working. In that video, former Richmond County Deputy Quincy Cannon alleges Johnny Atkinson choked an inmate. That claim comes from this document Cannon sent to the sheriff's office a month and a half ago on January 1st. And that's not all. Cannon also sent the video in a very public email back in November to Richmond County Sheriff Richard Roundtree and then Chief Deputy Patrick Clayton. It also went to all Augusta commissioners, Augusta's mayor, and Augusta District Attorney Jared Williams. Again, this is the same video the I-Team first raised questions about back in July, so this hasn't exactly been a secret. Far from it.
Tonight, Cannon and Wilson tell our I-Team's Meredith Anderson that's not enough.
We first showed you this video when Cannon and Robert Wilson first broke their silence about what they say really happened the night a fellow Richmond County deputy was shot in the face. Cannon, Wilson, and Andrew Acosta were arrested after the suspect, Vernon Craddock Jr., claimed they assaulted him. Both Cannon and Wilson say after a very long shift, their body cameras ran out of battery.
Mine had died at the scene.
Mine died at the scene as well.
So this surveillance video is all investigators had to go on when Craddock claimed he was beaten while handcuffed once deputies were able to get him alone in the elevator.
I'm thinking there's cameras at the sheriff's office or in the elevator. Apparently there's no cameras in the elevator. So when we get...
You didn't know there were no cameras?
No,
we thought cameras was all over the place.
Yes, it's the sheriff's office.
Had cameras been rolling, Cannon says we would have seen Craddock try to headbutt them. He says his training kicked in and he responded appropriately. It happened so fast, Wilson says he never saw anything and was charged because of willful blindness.
Since it happened in the elevator, you was in there, you must have known about it. I was like, even though my back was turned, he's like, yeah, you failed to report it. I was like, report what? Something I didn't see?
A grand jury returned a no bill, clearing them of all charges. District Attorney Jared Williams took it a step further by signing this document expunging them of their charges. But here's where that jail video comes in. Cannon and Wilson believe it shows a double standard at the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Back in July, when we first showed it to you, Atkinson and Birch hadn't been arrested yet. No one had. But the I-Team had also recently uncovered Deputy Ty Daly punched an arrestee several times in the face and